How was it for you building a business right here in Vietnam as a black man?
I was in the US last 2 years, almost last 2 years. And where I stay in Los Angeles, at night, I decided to go out of the hotel, only me, and I just asked one of the receptionists. I said, please, I want to go out, and this is my first time in Los Angeles. Can I just walk on the street or just to see the beautiful scenery? He told me, please, don't go the left side, but you can go the right side. I said, why can't I go the left? He said, because there are a lot of blacks there, and this time, 8 o'clock is very dangerous. Now, listen, how will you think when someone is telling you to go away from the blacks?
There's a whole lot of reports. There's a whole lot of things that has been said about the Africans living in Vietnam. Drugs, scandals, frauds, name them. There's been a lot of criminal activities. What do you think is the major cause of this, and how do you think this can be rectified in Vietnam?
African roots. African roots.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of African Roots in Vietnam. My name is Mr. Nam, the Vietnam, the finest, Vietnam's finest, as you already know. And on today's edition, I call it special because our guest on today's edition of the show is a very, very friend of mine, very good friend of mine. And he's one of the foremost African community leaders in Vietnam right here. And he's a very successful businessman. He was an ex-footballer. But I present to you Mr. Solomon Bamidele Jr.
Thank you very much for the introduction.
Thanks for having us in your beautiful place. You got a beautiful, beautiful house.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir, do you mind introducing yourself? I know you, but for our viewers, do you mind introducing yourself to our viewers today?
My name is Solomon Bamidele Jr.
Okay.
I'm a Nigerian, a businessman,
Okay.
and I came into Vietnam in the year 2008.
2008.
Almost 13 years
Almost
now.
13 years.
Yeah.
All right, sir. I usually, this has become like my normal question for almost all the guests, but I can't fail to ask you this question. What brought you to Vietnam? As a young black man coming all the way from Africa, what brought you to Vietnam?
Thank you. It's a question many people do ask me.
Okay.
Because I've granted a lot of interviews and also some written by some authors,
Yes.
which I always try to tell them.
Okay.
As a young Nigerian, my purpose of coming to Vietnam then was to come to Vietnam for one, football.
Okay.
Two, to see the country. Because what we learned about Vietnam was it was just a country that just left the sad war time between the north and the south of Vietnam.
Okay.
And after the unification, the country is trying to get together. And there was this magazine I read in Nigeria about some Africans playing football in Vietnam. And after my university days, I said, okay, let me just try to come to this country. Let's see how the country is and let's know what to do. Before then, I've been to some other countries. And when I came here, I saw the country as a developing country. Better than the country I'm coming from, that's my home country. And I could see a lot of Nigerians, Africans, and so many other people. The first interaction I had with a Nigerian, that was the first day I arrived here, was that the country is a dry land, that most of the people that came to Vietnam came from either Singapore, Thailand, and some other countries within the Southeast Asia. So some of them came in because of the exchange of their visas, but going back to the country they came in from, it was very difficult for them. So decided to stay. And I told him what of the tourism aspect. He replied me that they have a lot of beautiful places. And also, I asked him about the job opportunities in Vietnam, which he told me that what Africans and Nigerians are doing in Vietnam, it's either you play football, you go into teaching, and if you are financially a bit buoyant, within like $4,000 to $5,000, that you can start doing the trading of textile. That's import and export of textile.
Yeah.
So that was my first idea about this country, and of which I went back to my hotel room then and start deciding on what to do.
Okay, I have to pick up from where you started first. You came in as a footballer, right? That was what brought you to Vietnam.
That's a talent, a God-given talent of football.
Yeah.
And also, I came in to see the country.
Yes, and that's your skill, because there's been a spate of Africans that travel abroad that has talent, God-given talent to play soccer, as they call it in America, or football as we call it back home. So you came in as a footballer, and then when you started noticing that there's a business opportunity here, but you went into teaching. I learned you were a teacher.
Yeah, sure.
So okay, and in general, how has the experience been for you?
It has been a wonderful experience, very, very wonderful, and I never regret any single day of mine in Vietnam, because since 2008 I've done a lot of things, and I've engaged with a lot of people. You know, as you said about the football, I had trials with Can Saigon Football Club, and in fact my coach then was now the Vietnamese national team assistant to the Korean coach.
Okay.
So anytime we still discuss, we still talk, and he was very proud of who I've become. Secondly, when the football, I could see because of injuries and fatigues, I decided to engage in teaching. Why I'm doing this is because I want to know more about the people, the culture, and also the Vietnamese language, which is very, very important if you decide that you want to stay in Vietnam. Though my Vietnamese is not too good, but
at least you can.
I'm still trying.
Okay, sir. I want to ask you this. You know, as a young black man coming with so much expectations, and then your expectations were not exactly what finally came to realization. How did you adjust to this reality?
It's very simple. If you know your target, if you know what you want,
Yeah.
and if you remember charity begins from home, you know, and also when you realize the adage and the philosophy that Rome, when you are in Rome, you behave like a Roman. Okay? So when you are in Nigeria, we know the way we behave in Nigeria. And when you are in Vietnam, you know, a country different entirely from Africa roots, you know, you have to learn
To adjust.
and this is what made me to go through the process I entered. You know, I passed through when I came to Vietnam. And and when you realize that as you are studying more about these people, engaging with them, you realize how beautiful the country is, how beautiful the people are, how supportive the people are also. So with that, the reality, you know, of your coming to Vietnam will come true.
That's a very interesting story. But so as you began teaching, which was completely different from your initial skill that you came here for, how did you find the teaching in Vietnam?
Fantastic. You see, this is one opportunity that not only me or some Nigerians or Africans will make. It's the root of startup of many foreigners in Vietnam. Why teaching is because you could see Vietnamese, they are eager to express themselves to foreigners in English. You know, interacts and this creates a lot of opportunities for foreigners. You know, when the opportunity comes, I said, me teaching, okay, let me go into it. You know, and it was marvelous experience. You know, because when you interact with students, both from the kids age 4, 5 to adults, you know, grown-ups, you will realize that there's one similarity. They are eager, all of them are eager to talk to foreigners. All of them are eager, you know, to make the foreign teacher happy. And all of them never regret any dull moment, you know, with the foreign teacher. You know, so this is an opportunity that when people show you love, you know, you have to reciprocate, you have to show them, you know, and this is the genesis of, you know, any foreigner that really wants to start up something here, you know, because when you see the love people are showing to you, you know, from the kids to the adults, you know, you will understand that you are in a good country, the best country to me.
That's so beautiful to hear coming from you, because a lot of people have this impression of Vietnam that it's not so nice, that it's a war-torn country and it's full of hate and racism and stuff, so many things that are being said about Vietnam. But speaking to a lot of foreigners, even during the process of this series that we're doing, I haven't seen any foreigner that there might be some very negative experiences here and there, but overall I think we've had a lot of positive reviews and nice things that people have said about Vietnam, which is so beautiful to hear, because if I'm just the only one saying it, it seems like I'm biased or something. But when all the people that we've spoken to have good things to say about the country, which means that it's true. It's not just something that we just say because we are being paid to say it, but it's because of the experiences that we've gone through over the years living in the country. All right, sir, I'm going to take you a little bit away from Vietnam for now. And recently we had like a get together, like a conversation with the African American and the Western blacks the community. So, and we had some very interesting conversations. And some of the things that we talked about is the disconnection between the African blacks and the Western blacks, who in America they call them African Americans or African Australians or whatever. Do you think there's a disconnection between the Western blacks and the African blacks?
To me, it depends on the purpose of why people came to Vietnam,
Yeah.
or the area they had.
Yeah.
You see, I remembered then, there was a time our parents traveled abroad for studies, for job opportunity also, after studying. You know, they realized then that in the school they are studying, for example in UK, you know, in the area they are, it's only those people around them. If you are a Black French or Black American or from Africa, it's those kind of people you take as your friend.
Exactly.
You cannot be thinking of having a friend in East London and in the Western or Northern London, and you are looking for another friend. You know, you have to take miles traveling to see that, to have friends from those areas. But based on that ideology, we that are Africans, why most of us become friends in Vietnam, and when we come we start calling ourselves brothers and they, is because most of us are based in this city, Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? Most of us are based in Ho Chi Minh City, and others, few of them are based in Hanoi, that's the capital city of Vietnam. But the problem is this: if we have African roots, Black Americans, where are they? What is their job? Where are they living? I believe if they are living in Ho Chi Minh City, some district, our people, Africans from Africa are living, I believe the communication gap will not be much wide. But when we live far from each other, just like someone staying in Madrid and listening to people and saying a lot of Africans are in Barcelona, you know, and is having a job and having a family in Madrid, will he go because of that to Barcelona? No. So the gap depends on what we are doing and also where we live within the political or geographical zone of where we are. So in Ho Chi Minh City here, why we can communicate or form an association or form friendship union together is because we live around each other. You could see when we came here, we have some Congolese, we have some Cameroonians, we have some Nigerians, you know. Congo and Cameroon, most of them are French-speaking country. But because of our culture, our color, everybody comes together, drink together, eat together, assist each other together. So whenever we see some Black Americans coming in there, we have a lot of them as friends back then also, because they are based in Ho Chi Minh City, you know, all of us are one. But later on, when they start going to other locations, and it depends on the development in this country also. Back then, what we know about is Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. But now, because the country is so wide and developed, you see cities like Nha Trang, a lot of foreigners are there. Cities like Da Nang and Mune, you see, a lot of foreigners have expanded. You know, that is why I believe the more the cities have been developed, the more the gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Because why I'm taking you back to this question again is during the conversation, I posed to some of the leaders of the Black community in Western Blacks, and I posed the question to them that when I spoke to people from, you know, like citizens or Africans on the streets of Vietnam about their connection, about their communication with the Western Blacks, Do they think they have anything in common? Most of them that I spoke to say, a couple of them say yes, they have few Western friends. The other ones, so many, but majority of them say they really don't communicate because the connection is not there. So I posed the question to some of the leaders from the Western blacks. I asked them, what do they think is the problem? Why the blacks from the West and the blacks from Africa cannot work together as a community and be in unison in decisions, in most of the things that they do as a community, because they say together is stronger. Once there's a disconnection, then the whole card falls apart. Do you think there is something that is missing?
I don't think it's the nature of people.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that there's nothing missing.
Yeah.
I tell you this.
Okay.
I was in the US last 2 years, almost last 2 years. And where I stay in Los Angeles, at night, I decided to go out of the hotel, only me, and I just asked one of the receptionists. I said, please, I want to go out, and this is my first time in Los Angeles. Can I just walk on the street or just to see the beautiful scenery? He told me, please, don't go the left side, but you can go the right side. I said, why can't I go the left? He said, because there are a lot of blacks there, and this time, 8 o'clock is very dangerous. Now, listen, how will you think when someone is telling you to go away from the blacks? You are as a black man and go with the white people. It shows you it's not only in Vietnam, it's everywhere in the world. It depends on your mood. It depends on what you read about others.
Yeah.
It depends on what the whole country, or the media, or your knowledge also, you have research, you have passed through. And when you got the research and said, oh, these are these people, this is what they are doing, okay, you will want to study them first,
okay,
before you get closer to them. You will not want to interact with people, no matter the same color you're having, for the first time, and feel free to talk to such person. You have to study them well. And the kind of world we are living in now, where there's a lot of crime, a lot of misfortune, a lot of people that are just deceivers.
Yeah.
You have to be very, very careful, in dealing with people. But you know what? Your actions, the steps you take, and what you do doesn't hide. You might try to hide it, but any good things you do will surely come to reality, even the bad ones. So when you do good, people will know, no, this person is a good person, and they will want to get closer to you, So if you are not a good person, I will not want to associate myself with you.
Exactly.
And why I'm associating myself with you, anybody you bring to me, I believe they are same like you.
Yeah.
And I have to associate myself with them also.
Exactly my point. Because, recently when we were having these conversations, I was like saying to a lot of my friends, Western friends, that it's not just in Vietnam. I think it's all over the world.
Sure.
People interact with you individually according to how you interact with them.
Sure.
If you are good to this person, definitely the person, not all the time, but there's a very good chance that that person will reciprocate. So it's all about being an ambassador of your community wherever you are. Be you a teacher, be you a footballer, whatever field you find yourself in. Once you're projecting positive image, definitely people will respond to that, and people will stop seeing you as a color. They will start seeing you as a person, as who you are on the inside. Because people might have read a lot of negative things about the black people or African people or Nigerian people, but if you prove them right by being a jerk, by doing the things that they are already aware of, then you're already sending the message that all the things that they've read, it's definitely correct. But if you are being a very good person, and people will start looking at you differently and say, oh, wait a minute, this is not even what I was expecting of this guy. I thought he's a Nigerian, I thought he's a black man, I thought he's African. They are from a very poor continent, but your image, your behavior, your character, your attitude, only that can change the mindset of other people who approach you. So my next question also goes in this line. You know, as a young black man, you've been blessed with so much talent. You've played football, you've been a teacher, and now you're a very successful businessman. How was it for you building a business right here in Vietnam as a black man?
It's very simple. In a foreign land, you need a foreign partner, as in someone that is born, a local partner. You know, someone that is born from in that country. You know, for example, in US, you go to US, you want to start up something, you need a United States of American citizen to partner with you. My business is blessed because I have a local partner, which is also my wife. Nice. You know, and when you have someone that is truthful, someone that you can build up together, and someone that is have the skills and knowledge, you know, and can support you in all your ideas, I believe you will be very successful. But when you have an idea to do crime, for example, and you meet someone that just love you to spend for her or him, then that person will support you in the crime. And at the end of the day, you might be thinking you are successful in it, but in the long run, you will be caught. So my success, which I believe is just starting, is because I'm blessed with my wife, who also help in making our ideas, you know, come to reality.
All right, sir. I have to ask you this, you know, as one of the leaders of the Nigerian community, African community in general, there's a whole lot of reports, there's a whole lot of things that has been said about the Africans living in Vietnam. Drugs, scandals, frauds, name them. There's been a lot of criminal activities. What do you think is the major cause of this, and how do you think this can be rectified in Vietnam? What was the biggest culture shock that you experienced when you arrived in Vietnam?
So if any Nigerian or any African commit a crime and people are hungry, they are supposed to be hungry. The locals are supposed to be hungry.
Yeah. How has your experience been as somebody from Nigeria, from Africa, as a black man? Have you experienced any kind of discrimination